Hi guys, welcome back to Prospect Channel TV. Thank you for always stopping by. If you're just joining us for the first time, please kindly subscribe to this channel and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Abeg. Waiting you are about to watch could shock you. What is actually going on in Finland? The Finland government versus Simon Ekpa and Nigerian government. Okay guys, let's go there. I will be right back. Thank you.
Okay, we've seen Biafran lobbies, Vefa, Dag, both into one guy. He said what? He said he's not happy with the proceeding, then the Finnish court as regards Simon Ekpa's case. He said what? The Finnish government are trying to play a funny game with the Nigerian government as regards Ekpa travel, accusing him of tax fraud and at the same time accusing Ekpa of terrorist activities here in Nigeria. But with this now, we've seen this man affiliated with, Ibrahim Traore and also with South African and at the same time with Russia. What do you think? And now this already drawing massive attention from the ICC. What is your take as regards?
Of course, it's definitely going to draw serious attention from ICC because from the findings so far, according to the prosecutor in Finland, Mazi Simon Ekpa has not been linked with any terrorist organization. And but they are factoring in a lot of things, why Finland will stoop so low, irrespective of whatever gas deal they would have entered with Nigerian government. But so far, so good. Mambet Jaffa Gad, has made it very clearly. I think there was a press conference in that regard, where we'll put it very clearly to, all over the world that he is interested on Ekpa and is also a Biafra lobbyist from what we have found out. Who is that? The Biafrans need to actually know who is, Mehmet Gad. And Mehmet Gad is a Turkish ambassador. I remember some time ago, we noticed there was a Turkish man who has also showed interest in anything that has to do with Biafra. Time passed during Mazi Nnamdi Kanu travel. I think he was oftentimes issuing out press statements, concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu as at that time. But this is a pure scenario entirely where a non-figure has taken up Simon Ekpa's embattled and has promised to deliver more than 500 international foreign lawyers to Finland currently now to look into Simon Ekpa's case, of which it has attracted world condemnation, given the presence and the looks of Simon Ekpa at that period. Even though we got to know that Simon Ekpa actually came to court through military medical armored vehicle, but that has not yet been confirmed. But what the world leaders and of course Dag is saying at this point in time is that he is no longer comfortable with the position of Finland on Ekpa's matter, and not only that, he is making reference to what Swedish government and Norway government is talking about, how Alexander stood so low, signaling there must be something behind what is happening in Finland against Simon Ekpa. And currently now, the borders between Norway and Sweden has been shut down as a result of, what Alexander Stubb has actually compromised the standard of Finland as a nation among international community and community of friends all over the world. And the questioning is still ongoing, to identify. Investigation is still ongoing to identify where we are observing such a thing as regards to Biafran agitation. And there was one interesting thing about this inflation figure, even though at a point in time, we discovered that he has had a stint, a clash with South African government. But Biafrans all over the world who are watching this video should go and find out who is actually this man and why he is actually picking interest on anything that has to do with Simon Ekpa and Biafra. And a lot of people claim that it's one of the Asia Biafra lobbyists within the Asian continent, who is also making sure that at the recognition of Biafra, we are going to experience other Asian nations, buying into their solidarity of recognizing Biafra, as a sovereign nation. But what amazes everybody now is that, at this point, in the next Simon Ekpa's court appearance in Finland court, we are going to see more than 100 volunteers of foreign lawyers who are bent on trying to question the rationale why a Finnish citizen should be tried based on pressure coming from another country on the charges that has no proof of whether Simon Ekpa is linked to terrorism or not. But thank God, what the Iraqi born lawyer, I'm talking about Kali, Gumarus, who represented Simon Ekpa at the last court appearance. You understand? And he's a reputable figure when it comes to issues like this, and he has taken up that matter. But another figure too is coming in, and what we are seeing now might not be too good for Alexander Stubb. I think the man currently now is in trouble as borders have been shut down, and people are pointing to the inhuman treatment method on Simon Ekpa by Finnish government and a Finnish citizen for that, a Biafra Finnish citizen that has been gathering a lot of storm. That was why they took such decisions currently now. But Abraham Traore and the Russian president are meeting currently now to take a decisive decision on Finland. And remember, Finland and Russia are having a lot of problem, and I can tell you currently now that Russian government has shut down the hydrogen plant that is about to take place in Finland, citing human rights abuse by the Finnish government on a Biafra Finnish citizen, Simon Ekpa. So anybody that is telling you, that Simon Ekpa is not going to come out of this is not telling you the truth. Simon Ekpa has the spread contact, has a lot of contact, has a lot of influence, within the nomadic nations or Scandinavian nations, including Denmark too. So this has actually put pressure, on Finland to look into Simon Ekpa's connection and to know why a Finnish citizen will be tried based on terrorist accusations and petitions filed by government. But from the look of things, Alexander Stubb seems to have, because of Simon Ekpa, took side, against Russian President Vladimir Putin by supporting Ukraine. You can say that. And Russia, and of course, the most influential figure now in Africa, West Africa now, outside Mazin Nnamdi Kanu, is Ibrahim Traore, has made it officially that what is coming to Finland is huge, and that they will seek Biafra liberation anytime, any day, and nobody can stop them, because for economic and social political reasons, these nations I've mentioned has made it very clearly that there is no going back on Sahel revolution, and any time from now Ghana is likely to join the Sahel nation, and of which they are preparing the giant, the Jewish state of Biafra, to be able to join the Sahel nation at the end of the day, leaving ECOWAS and AU, totally paralyzed. And that is the area we are looking at now. But from what you're saying now, the economy of Finland is going down, and there is pressure on the parliament, and there is pressure on the presidency of Finland to do the needful. And from what we are gathering, it looks like as if that this very man we are talking about today, who has been a vocal international pro-Biafran lobbies, unknowingly to many people. That tells you there's a lot of them scattered all over the world, who are bent on making sure that the world get to recognize Biafra and show solidarity to it. The case of Simon Ekpa currently now is not going to last long the way we see it, but I can tell you that victory at the end of the day is totally guaranteed.
But for Bafra Dag, do you think that we know that it's affiliated with the Russian government, Putin to be precise, and also affiliated with Ibrahim Traore? But do you think that if the Finnish government don't do the needful by giving Ekpa what it deserves, do you think that when it takes the Finnish government to the ICC, do you think that this will make the Finnish government do the needful?
I think the judgment should be based on for them to do the needful, and not to bring any external influence on the judgment they are going to take against Simon Ekpa. And that's why we are seeing this side mobilization against Finnish government to let them know that the whole world is interested in Simon Ekpa, and the whole world is interested on how Simon Ekpa should be arraigned in the first place. Because agitation for freedom, agitation for self-determination is never a crime, and it is already enshrined in the United Nations Charter. That you have right to defend yourself in any political oppression or suppression or killings, which we have experienced a lot of them in Nigeria. Alexander Stroll, because of this man from France, Macron, cannot be toying with fundamental human rights and put his nation, Finland, under the platform of invasion by any country, because all the neighbors, all the countries surrounding Finland currently now has shut down their borders against Finland, citing the same Simon Ekpa, and that was what attracted this man we are talking about today, Mohammed Dag, who volunteered to mobilize more than 100 lawyers, international lawyers, to storm Finland court for Simon Ekpa, and also put the Finnish government on pressure. So you can see the direction where the Russian government is coming in. We're also seeing the angle where, of course, nobody can now tell us that Abraham Traore is not a fletcher in Africa now. Currently, now it's one of the outstanding leaders people are looking out onto. Let me give you an example why people are also interested in whatever that comes out from. I think 6 months after Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over power in Nigeria, he was able to come to power in Burkina Faso, but he has built more than 76 international world recognized industries and plants. While we saw Mr. President of Nigeria just commissioning just 200-kilometer Calabar Lagos road, and that's the clear difference. So it has attracted the world to himself, based on his leadership style, based on what he has put on ground in Finland. But it is a clear fact, that whatever Nigerian government are doing with Alexander Stubb, who is the current president in Finland now, is definitely going to set a precedent where a lot of people will begin to question, the rationale and the way. The whatever bribe that has gone underground will be questioned. Then the ICC factor, I think the same man too is planning to, as we had reported in some platforms, that is mobilizing petitions and getting the ICC government to look into the victory of Simon Ekpa during the court. But what remains at the end of the day, even though nobody's going to judge Simon Ekpa for 6 years, according to the news that is making round, I have to make it very clearly for Simon Ekpa fans all over the world. Simon Ekpa never carried any gun, never killed anybody. He's only an agitator. He's agitating for freedom of the Biafran people, and which is not a crime. So if the Finnish government or the prosecutor is threatening that charges labeled against Simon Ekpa will attract ICC. But the same Finland again allowed Biafra to hold their recognition convention festival in Lahti, Finland, and the same Finnish government has unfrozen the so-called Simon Ekpa account at the end of the day. So what is it that this thing is going to send a lot of signal to Asurok to understand that 1,000 of them cannot stop Simon Ekpa, and that there are a lot of people who are already watching the development in Finland, also watching the development in Nigeria concerning Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and the global solidarity for Biafra is spreading. I can tell you a few days ago, on 30th May, there was a launch of Biafran embassy right there in Washington. So it is not a crime, for somebody to seek for self-determination, and which Finland government cannot deny what it took them for them to be liberated from Russia territory and become a nation. So if they are doing that, no, definitely, there's a lot attached to it, and that is what we are questioning. How come we are seeing more Finnish citizens in the gas and in gas industry and crude industry in Nigeria, where we see more of them? So you can see the kind of thing that is going on, just because people doesn't want to be killed by so-called influence of the Fulani in Abuja, or so-called influence under a Fulani government in Nigeria. That is a quite disturbing one, and there's going to be a global resistance to whatever the Finnish government are trying to do, or to breach the fundamental human right and the right for somebody to agitate for freedom. And that is what Simon Ekpa is doing. And based on that, that's why we are seeing all this thing happening. That will give you a breaking news and an insight of what is already building up within Finland, all for Simon Ekpa. Simon Ekpa is not alone. The world is hearing, the world is watching, the global community is watching, the international community is watching, the ICC is watching, human rights organizations is watching, civil society organizations all over the world are watching, and they will know at the end of the day whether Finland will survive.
Alright guys, thank you very much for staying to the end of this video. So what's your take on this? Let's hear from you. I am telling you, this case is not going to be easy for the Nigerian government and the Finland government as well. Abena here go drop share your thoughts below the comment section. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Please make this video go viral so that the world will understand what is going on. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye for now.